A birthday, a symbol of life's milestones, ought to be a time of joy and celebration. However, Prince Harry's 40th birthday was one of a kind. A significant marker of time, a birthday often brings with it a sense of reflection, of looking back on the years past and looking forward to the years to come. Yet for Prince Harry, as he celebrated his 40th, the atmosphere was not as expected. The British media, rather than allowing the prince to enjoy his milestone moment, seemed intent on turning it into a spectacle. The weeks leading up to this landmark birthday were filled with a frenzy of media hype. The world was reminded time and again of the Virgo King's upcoming day of celebration. And yet, as the day drew nearer, the media's focus intensified to an alarming degree. The question that begs to be asked is, why this heightened obsession? Prince Harry, having lived a quiet life in Montecito for over 4 years, has made it abundantly clear that he wishes to distance himself from the majority of those he left behind in 2020. Yet, the British media, with the Daily Mail at the helm, seemed determined to invade his privacy. They even went so far as to send their most unhinged columnist, Jan Moir, to Montecito to, quite literally, stalk the prince. One cannot help but question the intent behind this move. What was the motivation behind this decision to invade the prince's privacy? Was it a genuine interest in his life, or was it a thinly veiled attempt to smear his name and tarnish his reputation? The bitterness and disdain that dripped from Moir's column raised more questions than it answered. The most telling part of this saga, however, was the focus of the media's attention. Rather than celebrating the prince's achievements, they seemed intent on scrutinizing his every move, questioning his every decision. The narrative they spun was one of a man trapped in a gilded cage, a narrative that seemed far removed from the reality of Harry's life in Montecito. So why indeed did the Daily Mail send Jan Moir to Montecito to stalk Harry? That's the question we will be exploring today. Jan Moir's piece, a bitter depiction of Harry's life in Montecito, raises many eyebrows. With an unmistakably sour tone, Moir paints a picture of Harry's life that is far from the Californian sunshine and peace he sought when he moved to America. She questions, rather cynically, what the prince does all day in his gilt cage. But what is it that makes her, and by extension the British media, so bitter towards a man who simply chose a different path? Her article is not just an attack on Harry, it is a broadside against Californians, Americans and celebrities. It is as if she finds it unbearable that a royal can choose to live among commoners and still be happy. But isn't happiness the ultimate goal in life? Isn't that what we all strive for? It seems that Moir and her ilk can't stomach the idea of a royal finding peace outside the gilded cage of the monarchy. This piece of journalism, if we can even call it that, is a glaring example of the standards in question. It's not about reporting facts, it's about stirring up controversy and feeding a narrative that the British media has been so keen to uphold. The narrative that Harry is lost without his royal title, that he is floundering in the alien landscape of America. But is he really? Or is it just their inability to accept that he has moved on and is thriving in his new life? The animosity towards Harry is palpable in Moir's words. The disdain for his choices, the mockery of his lifestyle, the insinuation that he is wasting his days away in the sun-soaked enclave of Montecito. But why? Why such bitterness towards a man who is simply living his life the way he sees fit? Why the constant need to belittle his choices and question his happiness? The question is, why such animosity towards a man who simply chose a different path? Perhaps it's time for the British media to introspect and ask themselves why they can't let go of a man who has clearly moved on. It's time to let Harry live his life in peace, away from the bitter columns and the relentless scrutiny. Because at the end of the day, isn't that what we all deserve? What prison is Harry in now? The prison of a fulfilled life, perhaps? It's a question that seems to echo in the chambers of the British media, a question that seems to resonate with an unsettling frequency. But let's examine this so-called prison that Prince Harry finds himself in. Now, if we're talking about a prison of well-seasoned food, then yes, Harry is guilty as charged. Living in the culinary paradise that is California, the British prince is undoubtedly enjoying the rich tapestry of flavours that the Golden State has to offer. And if we're talking about a prison of a beautiful wife and happy children, then again, Harry is indeed a captive. Meghan, his radiant wife, and their two adorable children, Archie and Lilibet, are the joy of his life. The love and laughter that fill their Montecito home are the bars of this so-called cell. But perhaps the most confounding aspect of this prison is the meaningful, fulfilling work that Harry has immersed himself in. From his mental health initiatives to his production deals, Harry is carving a path that is uniquely his own, a path that is guided by his passion to make a difference in the world. So, if this is the prison that Harry has been sentenced to, then it's a prison of happiness, of love, of purpose. It's a prison where he has found his freedom, his true self. It's a prison that many of us would willingly walk into. And yet, there are those who would rather see him shackled to a life that didn't fit, a life that suffocated his spirit. They resent his happiness, his success, his freedom. They long for the days when he was their scapegoat, their punching bag. But Harry has moved on. He has found his happiness, his purpose, his peace. And instead of resentment, should we not celebrate a man who has managed to break free from the shackles of expectation and find his own path? Instead of resentment, should we not celebrate a man who found his happiness? The Windsors' negative attitude towards Harry is a clear reflection of their envy and rage. It's a tale as old as time, really. When one person breaks away from the norm, those left behind often harbour feelings of resentment and jealousy. The same is true within the royal ranks, it seems. Prince Charles and Prince William, in particular, have shown signs of this unfavourable disposition towards Harry. Prince Charles, the future king, has been quite unkind to the youngest of his two sons. From evicting the Sussexes from their Frogmore cottage home to refusing to make suitable security arrangements, these actions reek of bitterness. It's as if he's punishing Harry for wanting to break free from the royal confines and live a life that he and his beautiful wife Meghan have chosen for themselves. And then there's Prince William, the elder brother, who should ideally be a pillar of support. Instead, his interactions with Harry have been tinged with envy and anger. It's almost as if he can't comprehend why Harry doesn't want to live in the shadow of the throne, being a scapegoat for others' shortcomings. William seems to find it difficult to accept that his younger brother is now successful and busy, carving out his own path. The negativity projected onto Harry from the Windsors is relentless. They're constantly questioning why Harry doesn't miss the old life as much as they miss him. Why doesn't he want to spend time with his old mates, who made unsavoury comments about his wife? Why is he so successful and busy? And why does he keep making the Windsors look so dull and lazy? Isn't it about time we recognised Harry's success, rather than questioning his choices? He's moved on from the royal life, finding happiness in his own family, his work and his new home. Instead of dwelling on why he doesn't miss the past, maybe it's time for the Windsors to focus on their own future. After all, there's plenty to investigate within their own walls. Isn't that a more worthy cause for attention? Perhaps the Mail should redirect their investigative efforts. It is rather curious that they are so fixated on a man who has chosen to live his life away from the limelight, while those who remain in the public eye seem to escape scrutiny. Prince Harry has made a life for himself in Montecito, where he enjoys the simple pleasures of well-cooked meals, the warmth of a loving family, and the satisfaction of meaningful work. But what about the other royals? Instead of focusing on Harry's life across the pond, wouldn't it be more interesting to look into what's happening with the royals who still reside in the United Kingdom, and who, let's not forget, are financially supported by the taxpayers? Isn't it more pertinent to question what Prince Charles, Prince William and the others are up to? Why not delve into their daily routines, scrutinise their work ethics or analyse their contributions to society? After all, Prince Harry has chosen a life of self-sufficiency, far removed from the royal coffers. His choices and actions no longer impact the British taxpayers, but the same cannot be said for those who remain within the royal fold. Their actions, their decisions, their scandals, these have a direct impact on the people who finance their lifestyles. Instead of stalking Harry on his birthday, wouldn't it be more worthwhile for the Daily Mail and Jan Moir to take a trip to Norfolk or any of the other royal residences and investigate what's really going on with the royals who are still on the payroll? The public would surely appreciate a more balanced approach to royal coverage, one that scrutinises all members of the royal family, not just the one who had the audacity to seek a happier life. Thank you everyone for watching. Show some love by subscribing and sharing. Don't forget to leave a comment. I am your loyal host, Kelly.